Well, originally I was born in Los Angeles, in a place called South Central, which back, 48 years ago was not very, famous.
Uh-huh.
It's since been made famous by, rap culture and pop culture has made it kind of an infamous place. So back then it was just, just a neighborhood in L.A.
Yeah.
It was it got quite violent after a while. I remember one of my earliest memories was there was being shooting outside, and my mother and I laying on the floor, her covering me, because
Wow.
the shooting was right outside the window. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And after a few of those episodes, I heard my parents talking, and we got to move, and we did. We moved shortly after my younger brothers were born. We moved to Altadena, the suburbs of Altadena, Pasadena.
Okay.
Which is about 30 minutes north of LA, and that was like I said, it was a suburb. It was pretty ethnically diverse at the time. I remember my first friend I met there was a Japanese guy that lived down the street. It was it was black and white and Asian and Hispanic.
Yeah.
That was mostly the makeup of it. I just remember having a lot of room to run around. I remember that, and it being really, really quiet. So that's my first memories of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. It's funny because you reflect on these things, I guess, more as you get older.
Yeah.
But I remember, just the whole suburbs, and ensuing years, the suburbs has kind of taken on a stigma, particularly for a lot of black people in this country. It's like, if you live in the suburbs, or you're not down with the cause, or something that's not real, or
Okay.
your experiences somehow devalued. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's changing too, though. I think that's kind of changing. I think people are slowly coming around to see, like, you want the best place to raise your family, and if it happens to be the suburbs, then so be it.
Yeah. And did you return to visit people when you'd moved to the suburbs? Did you go back to South Central?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's the other part of it. My dad, when around that time, started his own business, started liquor stores called D's Liquor and Market.
Yeah.
And they were in Compton. They were in Compton, California.
Right.
Which also has been made infamous by,
Yeah.
By the rap culture.
Yeah.
By the hip hop culture has made that famous. But he opened these stores, and he kind of had 3 of them. And part of the what we had to do was during the summer, and during vacation time, we always had to go down a few days a week and work with him. And he would, he always had to open, himself. So we'd get up at 5 in the morning and drive with him down there.
Wow.
And my earliest memory of that, my working memory, is, my job was to sweep the parking lot. And it was, which of course when you're, 9, 10, 11 years old is a fate worse than death. It's like, this is the worst thing in the world. But I remember just, being like, it's still being dark, right before sunrise, sweeping the lot, with this big old push broom and, just glass and garbage and stuff everywhere. I remember that. And obviously, I look back on that now. I'm very thankful to, my father for that. That was a valuable experience. But it was that was the worst part of the job. And I think the best part was on Tuesday and Thursday was the delivery day, which meant you have to, they deliver the liquor on one day and then the wine on another day, and you'd have to, haul it into the store in these big boxes. And it was, always challenged myself to see how many boxes I could carry at one time. So that was, and obviously it's different. You're in Compton and in South Central, obviously a lot different from the suburbs. So you got to see a lot. My brothers and I, we saw. We saw fights. We saw the beginnings of gang activity. We saw and heard everything that goes along with the streets.
Yeah.
That was invaluable. That was an invaluable lesson because you're basically living in two worlds, and that I think is about as good as it gets for a kid. I think that's a valuable tool for kids to be exposed to as much as you possibly can, so you can function in any kind of environment. So
yeah,
I'm thankful for that. I'm really thankful for that.
yeah. Up to what age did you help your dad with the stores?
Oh yeah, that was from age 9, I think, all the way up until probably 16 or so.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I left for college eventually. But
Yeah.
it was really almost pretty much every summer. And then it's funny because I hated it first, and then you came to kind of enjoy it. Just as you learn more and more, and I got to work behind the counter.
Yeah.
And actually work the cash register.
Yeah.
A few times. So that was So I've had from 9 to 16 was that experience.
Yeah. And as you grew older, did you really recognize the difference in where you were living and where you used to live, and enjoy and embrace where you were?
Actually, yeah. I liked the dichotomy. I really liked the difference. I just liked, just seeing those two different worlds. I think I just started to really understand, I think, how the world worked, and I was thankful that we had the opportunity to live where we did.
Yeah.
Because I did, like I told you, my earliest memory was, the gunfire outside the house, and that kind of living in constant danger and that constant fear.
Yeah.
And I was just, I don't know, I was glad we didn't have to live like that. And I was also fortunate that I got to go and, spend time down there. Because also, a lot of my mother's family lived there, or still live there.
Right.
So we would also visit, all of our cousins down there. Most of our cousins lived in Compton, so
Yeah.
We would spend a lot of time down there. Even that when we weren't, working at the store, that's where sleepovers and stuff were with our cousins down there.
Yeah. Yeah. And at what age did you start playing sports?
Did I start playing football?
Yeah. Football, baseball.
Sports in general. Gosh, seems like I was 7 years old when I joined my first football league was the YMCA flag football team. That was about 7. I want to say 7 years old. That was a joy because it was just running around. I was running back and just getting the ball and running. That was about as good as it got. Scoring all the touchdowns at will.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Did you make a lot of Barry Sanders type runs at that age?
Yeah, yeah. I just remember. I remember being especially happy during rainy days. I don't know, rainy games played in the rain.
Yeah. Was that because of what you'd seen from the pros? Were there some links there to feeling like a professional?
No, that's a really good question. I think I liked college football probably more than I liked pro football when I was a really little kid.
Okay.
For some reason. And I remember the day I got hooked on it was actually USC Notre Dame in 1974.
Okay.
And it was, I want to say Notre Dame jumped out to this big lead, like 28-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
And USC came back and they scored like 7 straight touchdowns and won the game. And it was just amazing. So after that, I was into the USC Notre Dame game was like my favorite thing. And I think that was it. That got me hooked in college football. I think that's why I just loved watching that game. There was a running back for USC named Anthony Davis, who I just thought was great.
Okay.
After that, I don't know how much you follow that or how much you know about the whole USC football tradition, but the running backs were always fascinating to me. It was, Anthony Davis and Marcus Allen and Charles White and all these guys, these Heisman Trophy winners. I just loved watching them, and that got me hooked. So I think I was more interested in college football than I was pro for most of actually most of my childhood.
Right, right. And then when you started to play, um, middle school and then high school football, what was that experience like?
Oh wow, St. Francis High School. That was it was fun because it was St. Francis was kind of had a great reputation. It was kind of the area prep school.
Right.
It was all boys Catholic high school, very small enrollment, and like most Catholic high schools, not to stereotype, but they took football very seriously. Football is a really big deal.
Yeah.
Which was right up my alley. I excelled. I felt in the beginning it was a little rough because I felt like I stood out, and it was for reasons that I didn't quite understand. Like I said, I was at 16, 17, I just wanted to play. I mean, it was the sport that I thought it always was, but all of a sudden it was just different because I was different from the guys they had. I was faster than the guys that they were accustomed to, and I was more talented than the guys they were accustomed to having. And I think that I think some of my coaches were not quite sure what to make of me. I felt like I probably didn't. Well, I know I didn't play as much as I could have. Like my junior year, I just felt like my coach was kind of holding me back for whatever reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wasn't a bad kid. Obviously, I never got into trouble. I got good grades, but I just felt like he was kind of trying to keep me kind of under wraps. But I don't know, whatever that was. My senior year, he let it go, and they gave me the ball, and I just played.
Right.
I just played. That was really fun. I remember that being one of the best times, in my life. I remember just being a running back and running the ball, and that was fun. I mean, that's what I loved watching on television. Like I said, with the USC tailback, and that's where I played. That was as good as it got then. That senior year of football was really, really fun.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have a huge interest in playing college football prior to that, or was it just something?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Actually, I did. Like I said, that was Saturday afternoons were my favorite. I loved watching college football, and also it's funny. It was part of the family tradition. My father played at the University of Arizona, so every year we would drive to either Tucson or Tempe, Arizona, to see the Arizona versus Arizona State game.
Yeah.
And he would get together with all his college buddies, and it was like this yearly reunion.
Yeah.
So that was also part of it. It was just kind of built into the family fabric. So college football was a big deal, and so when I began to, I started to get recruited. After my junior year, it was pretty exciting. It was surreal. It was surreal when I got that first letter. I think it was either Arizona or West Point or somewhere. It was one of those two.
Okay.
But it was really exciting when colleges started to show interest, and and by the time my senior year was over, it was in full swing, and I was going on recruiting trips and talking to coaches pretty much daily, and that was overwhelming. And I was happy just to get it over with, to tell the truth.
Yeah. How did you cope with that? Because like you said, it's overwhelming. All of a sudden, you're having conversations with, I guess, players and coaches who you've enjoyed watching on the TV.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's funny. It's like, I think, and this kind of describes most of my life. I think I go at something, I kind of get involved with something without thinking about it, and I reflect on it later, and then I'm taken aback. Then I'm blown away after the fact. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how it was. I was talking to all these coaches, and I remember Colorado. Bill McCartney was a really intriguing guy. I thought he was an excellent recruiter. His whole staff was excellent. Like, they told me all these things, like you could be, showcased in our offense here at Colorado. It's like, we're building, a really great program here, and we want you to be one of the main parts of it.
Yeah.
And Joe Cap from Cal, came, and it was the same thing, and Northwestern, and But then Stanford, was different for me because Stanford, they did all the same stuff with the home visit, but it's when I took the trip to campus is where it sealed it for me.
Yeah.
Because when you go on these recruiting trips, they keep you busy. The coaches keep you busy. They take you around to all these different functions, and you meet all these different people, and it's constant motion, and someone's always in your ear selling you on the school and on the football program.
Yeah.
But I remember when I got picked up, Dave Baldwin was recruited at Stanford. He was the receivers coach, I think, and he, took me from the airport, dropped me off at the hotel, and said, "Okay, I'm going to pick you up in an hour and a half to go to this function, whatever it was."
Yeah.
I remember. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I was free for the first time, and I just walked around on my own. I walked around campus, and to me, that signaled like, oh, you can be yourself here. You can make your own decisions here.
Right.
You can be, you're going to be expected to do things right on your own. Like, there was no athletic norm. You had to register for your own classes, and no one's going to do those things for you. And I was like, okay, that this is the place for me. That's what I wanted all along. And I just wanted to, be that quote unquote, student athlete, and I wanted the whole college experience. And Stanford was, far and away the place that was going to offer me that opportunity.
Yeah.
And so that's why, I had a chance to go there. I took it, and then once I got there, then it's like, then I'm blown away. It's like, wait, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm here. Just that whole experience was a whirlwind.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.